Welcome to Spring LIB.
All right, so for this question, it's basically asking what community ecology is. But in order to understand that, we first need to ask ourselves what a community is, because a community ecologist or community ecology would just be the study of the community. And a community is basically a collection of different populations, and populations are different populations are groups of the same species that live in one area and interbreed with each other. So let's say this is all taking place in one park. These are three different species, and they all kind of live and interact in the same area. And so this is the community. Now, when we take a look at our multiple choice options, we can see that the only ones that really make sense in the first part, which is the definition of community ecology, are B and C, because they look at interactions within and among different species in the area. Now, this is where we need to take a closer look at the examples they have. In option B, we're looking at interactions of several populations of, let's say, birds, crabs, and grasses. So here are our birds, here are our crabs, that is close enough to a crab, and grasses. And then in the second example, or in option D, that example is counting the individual butterflies in a certain area. And we know already that their numbers are dependent upon this certain plant. But in this case, in option D, we're only looking at this one species because we're counting how many there are. We're not looking at the interaction between the butterflies and the plants. We're just looking at the butterflies. So we can cut that out. And then if we go back to option B and we read it more carefully, we see it's specifically looking at scientists who are studying the interactions between and among all of these different populations, which is the definition of what a community is. And so we can safely say that B is our answer.